The pain you don't express becomes a symptom. It whispers before it screams. A faint hum beneath the surface of your days, a subtle discord in the symphony of your life. You try to ignore it, turn up the volume on distractions, but the ache you feel, the one you refuse to name, isn't the enemy. It's a desperate messenger knocking relentlessly from within, begging to be heard. And the pain you don't express, the truth you try to silence, it doesn't vanish. It festers. It transforms. It becomes a symptom. Let's be brutally honest. If you don't want to feel pain, you don't want to be human. Pain is not a cosmic error or a sign of personal failure. It is an intrinsic, undeniable thread in the rich, complex tapestry of human existence. To be human is to feel the sting of loss, the gnawing emptiness of lack, the relentless pull of desire. It's in our DNA. We are creatures built for connection, for striving, for meaning, and these very pursuits are paved with the potential for discomfort. Think about it. The profound ache of grief is the shadow of deep love. The frustration of failure is the byproduct of ambitious effort. The pang of loneliness underscores our innate need for belonging. To strip away pain entirely would be to sterilize life itself, rendering it a flat, featureless landscape devoid of the very contours that give it depth and meaning. What truly propels us forward? What sparks innovation, art, and revolution? It's not contentment. It's the grit in the oyster. It is the perpetual sense of lack, the nagging feeling of inadequacy, the quiet, persistent hum that whispers, more, different, better. It is desire in its myriad forms, for love, for understanding, for purpose, for change. If we were perfectly content, utterly without need or longing, what would we do? We would likely recline on a proverbial sofa, swaddled in a bland comfort, and passively await an unremarkable end. The engine of human progress, of personal growth, is fueled by this divine discontent. It's the itch we must scratch, the horizon we must chase. Yet, how do we, in our sophisticated modern world, typically respond to this fundamental human experience of pain and lack? We flee from it like a vampire from the dawn. We have become experts in avoidance, masters of emotional evasion. We seek refuge in the glittering illusion of perpetual safety and manufactured happiness, a promise often dangled by the relentless highlight reels of social media. This contemporary discourse champions a flawless, filtered existence, urging us to present a facade of unwavering positivity, even if, internally, we are crumbling. We meticulously curate our online personas to showcase endless joy, success, and effortless perfection, terrified to expose our authentic selves, riddled as they are with imperfections, anxieties, and the raw, unedited footage of our failures. We want to appear fine, blessed, and living our best life, even when the truth is a far more complicated, often painful, narrative. This relentless pursuit of an artificial ideal comes at a steep cost. We become strangers to our own inner landscapes. When we consistently deny or suppress our authentic emotional experiences, these unvoiced pains don't simply dissolve, they morph, they become symptoms. From a psychological perspective, a symptom is an unwelcome visitor. It appears without explicit permission, often feeling alien and intrusive. It can manifest in a myriad of ways. A persistent anxiety that tightens your chest, a depressive fog that dulls the world's colors, an inexplicable physical ailment, a compulsive behavior, an irrational fear, or a pattern of self-sabotage. These symptoms are not random afflictions. They are often, as psychoanalyst Christopher Bollas might allude to, with his concept of the unthought known, the psyche's way of signaling that something vital is being ignored, something that needs to be acknowledged and processed. They are, in essence, the body and mind's cry for help, a distorted expression of a buried truth or an unresolved conflict. Freud himself elaborated on how symptoms are often compromise formations, where a repressed wish or trauma finds a disguised outlet. The symptom, therefore, is not the core problem, but a signpost pointing towards it, generating suffering, because the underlying issue remains unaddressed. When we try to hide parts of ourselves from ourselves, our insecurities, our traumas, our unacceptable feelings, these disowned aspects don't cease to exist. They coalesce into what Carl Jung termed the shadow. This shadow, like a persistent phantom, haunts us. It's the repository of all we've denied, and it will spend the rest of our existence, subtly or not so subtly, attempting to make itself known. It seeps into our behaviors, projects onto others, and influences our choices, often in ways we don't consciously understand. As Freud noted, the unconscious is a powerful dynamic force. The parts of us we relegate to its depths will continue to seek expression, often through these very symptoms that cause us such distress. The more we suppress, the louder the shadow's whispers become, manifesting as anxiety, depression, or those inexplicable self-sabotaging patterns. Many great thinkers have grappled with this human tendency to avoid pain and the necessity of confronting it. The poet Rainer Maria Rilke urged us to live the questions, to embrace the difficulties and uncertainties of life rather than seeking premature, easy answers. He wrote, "Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given you because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer." This beautiful passage underscores the idea that growth comes from inhabiting our discomfort, not from evading it. Similarly, the existential psychiatrist Irvin D. Yalom speaks of the givens of existence, death, freedom, isolation, and meaninglessness, and how our attempts to deny these realities often lead to psychological distress. Facing them, he argues, is essential for an authentic life. Brené Brown, a contemporary American researcher, has powerfully articulated the importance of vulnerability. She states, "Vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's our greatest measure of courage. When we refuse to express our pain, our fears, our imperfections, we deny ourselves the experience of true vulnerability, and consequently, the deep connection and authenticity that stem from it. If you're finding this exploration of our inner worlds resonant, if these ideas are sparking something within you, I'd be incredibly grateful if you'd take a moment to support this channel. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and perhaps share it with someone who might benefit from this message. Your engagement helps this channel grow, allowing me to continue creating content like this. and reach more people who are on their own journeys of self-discovery and healing. And please leave your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. So, how do we begin to dismantle these internal prisons and embrace the totality of our human experience, pain, and all? The journey starts with acceptance, a concept often misunderstood as resignation, but is, in fact, a profoundly active and courageous stance. Radical acceptance. This is about acknowledging reality as it is without judgment or resistance, especially when that reality is painful or uncomfortable. It doesn't mean you like it or approve of it, but you stop fighting what is. As Carl Rogers, another influential American psychologist, emphasized, the curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. When you accept your anxiety, your sadness, your past failures, not as character flaws, but as parts of your human experience, you rob them of their power to control you from the shadows. Mindful presence. Cultivate the ability to observe your thoughts and feelings without immediately reacting to them or getting swept away by them. Mindfulness allows you to create a space between yourself and your emotions, recognizing that you are not your pain. You are the experiencer of your pain. This disidentification is crucial. Thich Nhat Hanh, the beloved Zen master, taught that we should treat our pain with tenderness, like a mother tending to a crying baby. Self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a dear friend who is suffering. Kristin Neff, a leading researcher in self-compassion, highlights its 3 components: self-kindness, being gentle with yourself; common humanity, recognizing that suffering is a shared human experience; and mindfulness, observing your pain without exaggeration. When you stumble, when old wounds ache, instead of harsh self-criticism, offer yourself warmth and support. Remember, you're doing the best you can with what you know and have. Courageous expression. Find safe outlets for your unexpressed emotions. This could be journaling, where you pour out your heart without censorship. It could be talking to a trusted friend, family member, or therapist. Creative expression, painting, music, dance, can also be powerful conduits for emotions that words cannot capture. The act of giving voice or form to your inner world is transformative. James Pennebaker's research on expressive writing has shown significant mental and physical health benefits from regularly writing about emotional upheavals. Embrace vulnerability as strength. Reframe vulnerability not as a weakness to be hidden, but as the birthplace of courage, connection, and creativity. Dare to show up as your authentic self, imperfections, and all. This is where true human connection flourishes, not in the pretense of perfection, but in the shared understanding of our beautiful, messy humanity. To be human is to stand with your chest open to the unpredictable winds of life, to embrace its contingencies, its joys, and its inevitable sorrows. It is to understand that the full spectrum of emotion is what makes life vibrant and meaningful. The path to a genuinely fulfilling and realized life is not paved with the avoidance of discomfort, but with the courageous acceptance of uncertainty, the embrace of your inherent vulnerability, and above all, the radical acceptance of your own beautiful imperfection. It is this imperfection, this unique constellation of your strengths, weaknesses, scars, and dreams that makes you unequivocally you. When you cease to run from your pain and instead turn to face it with curiosity and compassion, you begin to reclaim the lost parts of yourself. The symptoms may not vanish overnight, but their grip will loosen as their messages are finally heard. You start to integrate your shadow, transforming it from a source of fear into a wellspring of wisdom and depth. You discover that within your vulnerabilities lies your greatest strength, and in your acknowledged imperfections, your most profound beauty. This is not a journey to a mythical state of perpetual happiness, but to a state of wholeness, authenticity, and a deep, abiding peace with the magnificent, messy truth of being human. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. If this video resonated with you, if it offered a new perspective or a moment of clarity, please show your support by giving it a like and subscribing to the channel, sharing it with others who might be on a similar path, and leaving your comments below also helps enormously in growing this community and allowing more content like this to be created. Your presence and engagement are truly appreciated.